what's exciting is that we have a collection of about 40,000 items, and we have students researching these at many Christian colleges around the world. And you've got hundreds of students now interested in studying for the first time original documents, some of the earliest scriptures ever found. With the Passages exhibit, with the Green Collection, is we have some key items out of the 40,000. There's about 500 at Passages, and we've had tens and tens of thousands come to see this. I hope you get to see it, whether it's here or when we eventually are in Washington, D.C. in our major museum. But you can go online and see this. But behind me, you see a replica of Dura Europos, one of the earliest intact synagogues. And we have examples of how the text was preserved in different cultures and in different forms, and whether it's papyrus or in vellum. Just around the corner, we have some of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And here today, in this building, in front of hundreds of people, we actually had another type of an excavation. We took apart cartonnage, which is reused papyrus. And out of that today, we saw some texts that students hadn't studied or scholars had never seen in 2,000 years. And some of the cartonnage we found over the last 3 years, we've only been doing this 3 years, has been scripture. And so it gives you chills when you come across some of that. When you read the word kuros for the first time in maybe 1,800 years, I mean, you realize you're as close to the saints as probably you're going to get with the text. We looked at some of the handwritten items, and then in 1454 with Gutenberg, you have really a transition of the entire Western world, because printing is introduced or reintroduced in a way that changed the world. And you'll see here one of the original copies of the book of Romans. And what happened is that people had access to the scripture in more abundance than ever before. And what's interesting is the first text put on that press in any major way was a copy of the Bible. And now we're standing in what's called the Jerusalem Chamber. For those of you who have studied or appreciate the King James Bible, this is an exact replica at 80% scale of the room where they decided on the text of the King James New Testament. And they would stand around this table, each looking at Bibles and languages that they could read and that they were their best language. And they would see, when they read out of the King James in the version that was going to the final version, many of it in Tyndale's words, of course, if it varied from their Spanish or whatever language they were reading in, they would pause and see why the translators in the English used a little bit different translation. Just behind me here you have two first edition King James Bibles, a he and a she Bible. You have here a lot of the reference materials they would have used. And it's really a part of history where we got probably the most popular version of the Bible, at least in American history, for a couple hundred years. You know, this Bible changed the world. It's been the most powerful book in the history of the human race. And I think I'd close by leaving this. Should you come? Well, this exhibit represents what people gave their lives to and often for. And, you know, just behind me is the cover page of the King James Bible. And at the bottom of that page is an image of a pelican plucking her chest and feeding her young. It's really the story of Christ embodied in a symbol of the sacrifice. And that's the story of the New Testament, which you've seen today, along with the Old Testament, has been preserved from its original form down to the present. And we hope that you come and you're able to walk through this history with us.